Hello, hello. Welcome back to Math Made Possible. I believe I can. I am your teacher, Ms. Howard. I'm going to be covering 5th grade math, adding and subtracting fractions with unlike denominators. We'll be using the Illustrative Math series for Unit 6, Lesson 10. Understand that this is a summary. If you want a full video on that, you can go to YouTube to search that up, or you could search up how to find common denominators. All right, so I did post a video earlier that showed exactly 3 steps that you could use to find common denominators. So all we're going to do is take those strategies and we're going to apply them here. All right, let's take a look at our first one. Our first step whenever we're adding and subtracting fractions is that we must make sure that we have like denominators. So one of the strategies that I'll use is I'll go ahead and take a look at 4. And I know that if I multiply 4 times 2, I can get 8. That is definitely one of the strategies. So I'm going to go ahead and rewrite my fractions. I like to line mine up vertically because it's easier for me to see the equivalent fractions straight across. Okay. So we said that our common denominator for this would be 8. Now we're going to multiply. What number would we multiply by 4 to get 8? Yeah, that's 2. Exactly. So now whatever we do at the bottom, we're also going to do at the top. 3 times 2 equals 6. And we already have an 8 as our denominator here, so we definitely don't need to change this fraction. But if you want to think about it, what would we multiply times 8 to get 8? Well, that would be 1. And whatever I do at the bottom, I also do at the top. 7 times 1 equals 7. Now for this specific fraction, we're going to be adding. So remember, when you rewrite these, please make sure that you're putting the correct operation there and circle it so you can remember. Now we go ahead and add 7 plus 6, and we know that's 13. And that will be 13 over 8. And now we ask ourselves, how many groups of 8 can we make in 13? You could either think about it like that, or think about it with the understanding that 8 over 8 equals 1, and we know that 13 minus 8 right here, 13, again, we put up our fingers, we can count backwards, 13, or we could start with 8, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and that would be 5 over 8. Now that is the simplest form, so you don't have to worry about doing anything else to that. For our next one, let's use a different strategy. Why don't we go ahead and use our T-chart? So I'm going to use some space over here, and I'm going to put my 4 and my 6. Because remember, we need to make our like units. Now I'm going to count by 4. 4, 8, 12. Well, let's see if we need to go any further. Let's count by 6. 6. And we know that 6 plus 6, that equals 12. Well, guess what? We found our common denominator. Now, again, I like to line mine up vertically, so I'm going to write 3/4. Thank you for forgiving my handwriting, getting used to this pen. Plus 4, 6. And first step, we did find our common denominator. That will be 12 for both fractions. But now we have to, instead of adding 3 plus 4, we have to make equivalent fractions. We have to make them into equal pieces. So we ask ourselves, what can we multiply times 4 to get 12? And that would be 3. Whatever we do at the bottom, we do that at the top. 3 3 times 3 equals 9. And we multiply at the bottom as well. What do we multiply times 6 to get 12? Well, we should know that would be 2. And whatever I do at the bottom, I also do at the top. 4 times 2 equals 8. And we know 9 plus 8 again, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. If you're having difficulty with adding, please go ahead and draw circles so that you can make sure that you're having the correct answer, because one of the mistakes that I see students make is with the addition or the subtraction. They've gone through the whole part of finding the common denominator, and then they get down to the last step, and guess what? They mess it up because they get it wrong because they didn't add or subtract correctly. So don't be ashamed of double checking your work, right? Make sure that you have the right answer. Now I asked myself, how many groups of 12 can I make in 17? And that would be 1, with 5 left over, because we know that 7 minus 2 equals 5 over 12. And that would be that problem. Hopefully you all understand with these strategies. Now let's look at our next one. We have 15 twelfths minus 3 fourths. Again, I made it so that we could do different strategies to find our common denominator. Let's look at 4. I know that if I multiply 4 times 3, I can get 12. So I'm going to rewrite 15 over 12. And you don't have to use the same strategy that I used. Minus 3 fourths. We're going to need to make our equivalent fractions. So we did say that 12 was our common denominator for both of them. And now we take a look at our fractions. And as we can see here, we already have 12 as our denominator here. So we don't need to do anything to the first fraction. So we just multiply by 1. And so our numerator would still be 15. And we'll just jump down to the next one. We ask ourselves, how many times can I multiply 4 to make a value of 12? And that would be 3. And whatever I do at the bottom, I also do at the top. And let me go ahead and put my equal sign here. All right, now 3 times 3, that equals 9. And we are going to write our operation. And this time we're going to be subtracting. 15 minus 9, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. Well, that's one way to do it. Let's start from 9. 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. That's 6. 6 over 12. And we should see that 6 is half of 12. Why did I write 6 again? So you can see both of those answers represented on a test. Now, why don't you use the T-chart? We'll put 4 and we'll put 12 and work out this problem and see if you could find a common denominator for this one. Okay? All right, so that's it for today's video. I do thank you so much for watching. We are going to be going into our next lesson. We'll more than likely be combining just some different fractions for you to continue to practice, all right? So if you're having difficulty with this concept, please go ahead and go to YouTube, type in Illustrative Math, Grade 5, Unit 6, Lesson 10, or you can continue to watch other content creators who can show you how to add or subtract with common denominators. or how to find common denominators. Thank you so much for liking and subscribing to our video. We appreciate your support, and we'll see you in our next video.